Gentleman yields back. Chair thanks the gentleman. Gentlelady from Indiana is recognized for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Diaz-Balart and Ranking Member Lee, I want to thank you for coming to testify today on the State and Foreign Operations Bill. Chairman Diaz-Balart, I want to start by particularly thanking you and your team for including report language related to Turks and Caicos in this process. The report language states, the committee has growing concerns about conditions and due process terms under which United States citizens have been detained and processed for alleged violations of Turks and Caicos Islands law. The committee directs the Secretary of State to prioritize engaging with the government of Turks and Caicos Islands to seek positive resolutions on such cases. Not later than 90 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Secretary of State is directed to submit a report to the Committee on Appropriations on efforts to release detained United States citizens, as well as an update on how the Department of State is advocating for policy modifications on such matters with the government of Turks and Caicos Islands. As you and your staff very well know, myself and other members of this committee and of our conference have had constituents caught up in the legal system on the island and have been detained, some for many weeks at a time, some for months. The treatment of Americans on the island of Turks and Caicos of recent months has been awful. And we've also seen a tremendous lack of support from the Department of State that has been unacceptable. So to the chairman, Diaz-Balart, I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to ensure for both those Americans who have been detained and those who've come home, is it your intention that we can continue to work together to make sure that no other American has to suffer what too many have already suffered on the islands of Turks and Caicos?
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Thank you. Actually, thank you for those kind of words. But this language is in there because of your efforts. You and again, committee member Guy Rushenthaler, who's also an appropriator. This has been one of the most frustrating things to deal with. And I just am in gratitude for your leadership, for you not backing down. We learned because of you and because of Guy Rushenthaler that the Department of State, frankly, hadn't even visited these folks for a long, long time. They were slow at best. And so, again, I thank you for those words, but with all due respect, let me throw those back at you, because we owe you and Guy Rushenthaler so much. And those constituent of yours who have been going through this, I'm sure they're aware of your efforts, because none of this would be possible without you. We have that report language, but that's, again, we just want to make sure that we do not forget about this, that it's got to come back to us. I feel pretty confident, by the way, that you're going to see some good changes taking place, but none of this would happen without your leadership, your steadfast, just absolutely brilliant and steadfast leadership. And again, I do have to mention our appropriator colleague, who's also a member of your committee.
Well, thank you for your attention, and I appreciate you sending that back to me. It's great to be able to work together on this. What happened was dreadful and unfortunate. I hope it never happens again, and certainly Mr. Rushenthaler and I, and with the help of you and your committee, are committed to making sure that no other Americans suffer as many have in the past few months. So thank you. And to Chairman Calvert and Ranking Member McCollum, thank you for testifying today. Chairman Calvert, I wanted to thank you and your staff, frankly, all of the staff of the Appropriations Committee and the Rules Committee. This is a season that brings hundreds of amendments on important bills like our defense bill. Our staff do have to shoulder an incredible burden to get these important bills on the floor and process all of these amendments. So I don't want today to pass without thanking both sides for their hard work as we go through this to get the best results on this legislation. Chairman Calvert, I'd like to just ask you briefly about the substance of the bill itself. I know innovation is an important subject for you in particular. and how it relates to small business. Could you just expand briefly on what the bill has done as far as promoting innovation in our defense industrial base?
This is a bipartisan effort with me and the ranking member. DIU, Defense Innovation Unit, is extremely important to where we can move to the next chapter. We need to get small and medium-sized businesses involved in the department. Unfortunately, the bureaucracy within the department sometimes makes that difficult, if not impossible. So this is a step in the right direction, along with AppFit, which is also which has been run by Heidi Hsu. DIU is run by Doug Beck, both two good hires in the department, and moving in the right direction to innovate. We put $1.3 billion in that innovation account. We believe it's going to be used to enhance our military and to make sure that we have the technology to deal with future threats, and quite frankly, our potential enemies are moving very rapidly, so we need to move quicker. And so that's what this is all about.
And to the ranking member, if you would want to make any comment to the same question.
This is something that is joint and is bipartisan on both sides of the aisle. As the chairman mentioned, we have 5 large primes left. The innovation that's happening, whether it's on cybersecurity, whether it's on how we move forward to make sure that our servicemen and women have the right equipment at the right time, needs to happen much faster than it has been happening. And with some of the delays, the Virginia-class submarine, Columbia-class, some of the challenges that we've had with the F-35s, we need to turn outside of the mainframe of the defense industry to solve those problems. But as the chairman pointed out, we also run into contracting that's archaic, that kind of goes back to the way contracts were let during World War II. And that's something that I look forward to working with the chairman on as well. We need to reform our contracting.
Thank you. And additionally, I understand to Chairman Calvert, the bill does a lot of work in the area of counter-narcotics, particularly to combat fentanyl. Could you just expand on the counter-narcotics activities in the bill and how we are supporting this largely National Guard responsibility?
Yes, we plussed up the bill about $242 million above the president's request to $1.14 billion in the bill itself. This is to enhance counterintelligence operations with the National Guard and other activities with the Guard to secure the border from this fentanyl that's coming across the border. I may point out, the base chemicals of fentanyl come from one place, that's from China. Those chemicals are primarily made by the 2 major cartels in Mexico and then distributed in the United States. We've had 100,000 plus opioid deaths, primarily fentanyl, in the United States in the last year and the year before that. And since this opioid epidemic has happened, and this I call it poison, not because sometimes people inadvertently take this, we've lost more people than we've lost in both World War I and World War II combined. This is a national crisis, and we need to deal with it, and we're looking forward to working with the Guard to make sure that they have the resources to take this on, along working with the Border Patrol and all other elements of government, including the U.S. Treasury, by the way, who needs to get after the money in this. If you take illegal drug activity, illegal farming, illegal fishing, human trafficking, you add it all up, the FBI told me that it goes over $100 billion a year. $100 billion a year, and is going to these criminal elements that's being used against and killing Americans every single day. So thank you for your help.
Well, thank you for your leadership. With that, I yield the balance of my time.